The selection I chose to analyze was a short story by Jin entitled The Bridegroom. The story was about a newly married man named Baowen whose secret lifestyle had been exposed. The author created a detailed story about characters and their reactions to homosexuality as well as the pressures of living in a Chinese society. Although the story does tell the tale of Baowen, the real focus is that the narrator and how he deals with Baowen's issues coming to light. The author chose to write the story in first person, which allows the reader an first-hand look into what the narrator is thinking. From the very beginning, we can see how obsessed the narrator is with finding a mate for his inherited daughter. The pressure he places upon himself emphasizes how important it is to marry in the Chinese culture. You can also see through the author's choice of word that he is very judgmental of his daughter, and he considers from the very beginning of the chances of Vienna finding a mate very impossible. This can also be seen with descriptions that he gives about her, such as her being short, homely girl, was 23 with no boyfriend, and he was also afraid that she would be an old maid. I sometimes have to wonder if maybe because she was an inherited daughter and not a daughter from birth that this plays a role in his judgmental feelings about her. Later in the story, the narrator even makes negative and judgmental comments about the daughter's weight gain. Besides the author's judgmental attitude that makes the tone of the story very serious throughout the story, there is pressures of the Chinese society that weighs heavily on the characters throughout the story. The story opens with the narrator's opinion on the societal emphasis that Chinese have a women marrying a suitable husband and also producing children immediately upon getting married. The narrator is not the only one who has important facts on society. He puts his daughter and his son-in-law in a nice apartment which have people waiting in line to get in first, and he ups them to get in it. He also reflects on how society would react before making decisions about his life. He constantly stressed about marrying off his daughter. He had a son-in-law committed to a mental hospital instead of put in prison. He also disowns his daughter when she chooses to stay with her husband and not get a divorce. Baowen, he eats lizards, scorpions, and herbs to try and cure his homosexuality. He also marries when he is not in love. He lies to his mother about being at a mental institution. And he also cooperates and is not angry when he receives his treatment with the shocking baths. Also, Vienna marries young. She accepts a homosexual husband after knowing the truth. She is willing to accept not having children, and she also accepts a marriage without intimacy. Besides the Chinese society pressures, there were varied views on homosexuality. Chief Mayo thoughts seemed to represent the Chinese visions when he first introduces homosexuality as a social disease, such as gambling, prostitution, or syphilis. He also states that his beliefs of homosexuality should be blamed on the Western capitalization. The narrator feels as if he has an illness that can be fixed and arranges Baowen to be transported to a mental hospital instead of prison. He also makes a statement that even his children might be affected from his homosexuality. Baowen, on the other hand, is not ashamed of his homosexuality, but wishes that he could be fixed. He also mentioned early on when he was younger that he tried eating the scorpions, the lizards, and the herbs to fix his homosexuality, but it didn't work. The story demonstrates the impact of a strong society can have on individuals and the decisions they make on their daily lives. Jin used tone and the feeling of the first-person narrator to emphasize how strong the social pressure can truly be.